Hi folks, Dave with DBS Tech Talk, and today we're going to talk about the Adv-Sound Nismo Jr. A couple months ago, I did a review of the Adv-Sound Nismo, an over-ear gaming headset, and it was kind of meh. It was doable for casual gaming, but not really for online gaming, competitive gaming, and most definitely not for streaming, vlogging, or any sort of online chatting. The microphone was lackluster, and the sound is okay for games and movies, but not really that good for music or voice type of things. And so the in-ears came along, and I was really kind of interested in them. For one, it's a style that's not real popular, and two, it has a couple of differences when it comes to the frequency. They boosted the bass a little bit more. It's more mid-forward, and the treble is a little more in control, at least according to the frequency chart on the back. And so I was really interested, and so I was like, let's get these. Plus, they're $30. $30. So let's take a quick look at the box. The box is pretty straightforward, small IEM style. You've got a picture on the front. You got some explanations on the sides, and then on the back you have your frequency graph and the specs. Specs are 16 ohms, 96 dB sensitivity, and 20 hertz, 20 kilohertz range, frequency response range, and the driver is a dual dynamic. So when you open it up, you get just the standard old Adv-Sound carrying case, nothing spectacular. When you open them up, boom, here are your in-ears right here. And then on the inside pocket, you will get your inline microphone, which is detachable, which is very nice. Or sorry, not your inline, just your line microphone. A bag of silicone tips and some paperwork. Did not use the silicone tips. After I tested them, found that they just were not comfortable with silicone, so we moved to foams. And I used Deconi bullet tips on there, and it works great. The in-ears themselves actually have a very nice 1.2 meter cable, so about 4 foot long. Goes to a angled jack and has a rubbery feel. Doesn't really tangle. Doesn't really straighten either, but it's not terrible, and it works. And it's the perfect length for portable use and for using with a gaming console. Then you get your inline microphone. It is branded and says advanced. Then you have on it a button for play, pause, and answering end phone calls. You have your microphone, which you can move to mute or on, and you also have your volume control, and it just slides. It is a little stiff to slide, but it works very well, stays in place. And then your in-ears themselves, it has a very short split, which makes it nice so that when it comes down from your chin, it's not way down by your belly button for your remote. Also, your remote's not on one of the cables themselves, and so it balances out the feel of them very well. They are a little bit on the clunky side. They are branded with black and red, so you can tell which one is right and left. Let me get it here properly. There we go. So you can see right and left. Also, they are angled, so you can kind of know which way to put them in your ears. But as you can see, they are rather clunky. So it is a little bit on the chunky side, has some branding on each one. If you take the tip off, you can see that dual dynamic in there. Has a fairly decent sized nozzle bore. Has a little bit of a lip on it, and that's what causes problems with the silicone tips. But foams just slide right on and do not have any problems with fit. As I say that, I can't get my foam tip to go on. There we go. All right. So it goes right on. And when they sit in your ear, as you'll see, they're angled just right. You get really nice insertion, and they don't protrude super far out of your ear. So they're not going to be like massively huge, and people are going to be like, man, you got something growing out of your ear. But the strange thing is, I thought when I saw these, I wasn't going to be able to keep them in my ear because I didn't have ear hooks on them. But they actually really stay in your ear extremely well. I never had any issues with them falling out. Even if I tugged on the cable a little bit, they don't move. So once they're in place, they're there for good, especially with the foam tips. With the silicones might be a different story. But again, comfort, don't use the silicones. So they go in your ear and they isolate extremely well. Like I can barely hear anything around me. Let's turn a fan on and see if we hear anything. So this is a fan on high, and it is a low whisper to me. I can hardly hear it. I mean, if it's dead silence and I'm not talking or doing anything like that, I can barely hear it. So your microphone goes into your left in-ear. There is a little jack right there. Boom, just plugs right in. And there you go. It just sits. People will know you have a microphone on, but it's not this big old boom. It's not sticking out. You can just kind of, it just kind of sits there. And when you don't need it, you just unplug it. It's that easy, people. It's that easy. This is a very simple setup. Goes right in your ear. Doesn't really add any weight to the setup. Doesn't pull it out of the ears at all. Still feels as secure as it did before. We'll do a sound test here in a minute. Oh, one other thing. As I was saying, because of where the remote is, it just comes right here to a button down. So you can just grab your inline, and if you need to raise or lower your volume or answer a phone call or mute your microphone, they're all very easy to locate without even looking. After a couple of minutes using it, you just learn the buttons. How do they sound? These little in-ears are amazing. I have been totally impressed with these. They have excellent bass, and it's not like boomy, thumpy, grab you and just make you feel it type of bass, but it's a very solid, strong bass that has actually really good details in it and clarity. And I find that's very helpful in gaming, because if you have boomy, blasting, thumping, heart pounding bass, it usually overpowers the rest of the gaming experience, and you can't pick out the details that you truly need. It makes for a very fun experience, but also it makes for a very frustrating experience because you won't be able to hear all the details that you need. So this bass is very well detailed, very accurate and clean, but also has enough to be immersive. It does really well with movies and videos. If it's bassy, it brings it forth a little bit. But for gaming, it's still in control. And then the mids are forward, and they have a nice presence about them. They're a little on the full side, and you get a very nice vocal experience. So like if your game has cutscenes where people are talking, it's a very nicely feels live and like you're there, and part of the experience. And it's just very natural sounding. They don't have a metallic sound to them at all. They're very clean, clear, very good natural timbre within the mids. And then the treble has enough extension in it that you get crispness and airiness to it, but it's not aggressive and it's not throwing the details in your face. But it presents enough details that in the games you can tell where you are. You get this nice spaciousness feeling to it, and you get excuse me, a nice all around details and clarity. Soundstage on these is actually rather impressive. I was really surprised at the soundstage. It's not like super wide, but it's not intimate either. You would think that for a closed in-ear, that the soundstage would be a little claustrophobic, and it is not. You have a wide open stage on this. You can hear everything moving around you, and it has a nice airiness to it, and it feels live and immersive. When it comes to spatial awareness and spacing and imaging and details within the soundstage, everything moves very well. You do not have any blockiness. It does not feel like it's right in your head. It does very good layering and depth. Even though it's not the most wide in-ear ever, you still can definitely tell that it's over on your right-hand side and it's moving towards you, and you can get a sense of how far away something is or if something is leaving. You can also definitely tell if it's right next to you. They do a very good job in the presence of a soundstage. I really like these. They're not for competitive gaming. They're not for anything like if you are in a competition, or if you are using them for a 24/7 gaming session. But they are very good for portable use. They're very good for as a backup. And they would also be very good for the casual gamer. If you would just get on and game for a couple hours a day, these would work tremendously well. Let's do a microphone test. And I think if there is one flaw about these, it is that the microphone sounds just a little bit on the tinny side. It's not terrible. It is doable, but it can be a little bit on the annoying side for teammates in games. It can sometimes come across as being a little bit on the thin and sharp side. So we're going to do this test a little different because I can't connect you to my PlayStation, but I did do a test with a PlayStation, and it was, okay. Sounded all right. My teammates sounded good, and they said that I sounded a little bit on the distant side. But to me, someone else using the exact same headset, I did do that test also, sounded okay, but I am not a heavy gamer. I would consider myself a casual gamer. So we're going to do the test with dongles since my camera is a OnePlus 6T. And I'm going to plug in USB-C dongles to the 3.5 of the Nismo Junior. We will use first the USB-C dongle that comes with the phone. Then we will use the Razer DAC amp dongle. And then last we will use the Adv-Sound access port light dongle. And I'm curious to see which one you like. So if you could let me know down in the comments below which one of the dongles sounded best with this microphone, it might help out somebody who is considering purchasing these. So let's get on with the microphone test. All right, so this is a test with the USB-C dongle for the OnePlus, and it's just a stock dongle that has no DAC or amp in it. Again, the Adv-Sound Nismo Junior. I thought this would be a good time to get out the big brother Nismo and do a microphone test on it so that you will know how the differences are between the two. So this is the Adv-Sound Nismo on the OnePlus 6T USB-C dongle. And now we are using the Razer DAC amp dongle. This is with the Adv-Sound Nismo Junior and the, excuse me, didn't mean to cough in your ear there, the Razer DAC amp. The regular Nismo with the Razer DAC amp. And of course, all this sound is being put through to the OnePlus 6T using the Razer DAC amp dongle and the Adv-Sound Nismo. Now the Adv-Sound access port Lite dongle with the Adv-Sound Nismo Junior going through to the OnePlus 6T. And we'll do a test of these dongles without the windscreen here in a moment. The Adv-Sound Nismo with the access port Lite by Adv-Sound dongle on the OnePlus 6T. And I'm hoping that you all can hear a difference in the microphones and headphones. So now this is the Adv-Sound access port Lite with the Nismo Junior without the windscreen test. The Razer DAC amp Nismo Junior without a windscreen test. The OnePlus 6T dongle Nismo Junior without the windscreen test. So there you have it, folks. A microphone test of the Nismo Junior and the Nismo. Now, the differences in sound between the two is actually also quite different. And the Nismo Junior comes in a plain old box and has a nice carrying case. Actually, one of the nicest carrying cases. Nice and thin, flips open, but a couple of significant differences. Number one, over ears, but they're more like large on ears. They barely cover my ears. And the extensions are a little short. I can actually use these pretty much fully extended and they don't fall off my head. I can go down one notch from the top and they're just snug enough. So if you have a big noggin, these might not fit for you properly. Also, the ear cups are very small. So if you have large ears, you may be touching. Also, as you saw, that microphone, it's one of those retractables, but it's too short. And I think that causes problems with the microphone sound. Also has an attached cable and it's freaky long. It's way too long for console use and it's too long for portable use. If you're using this on a desk, you're all right. Sound-wise, this is where these really differ. These do not have near as much bass. The bass is lighter on these, and it still has a good clarity and good details, and it sounds really well. It just doesn't have quite as much oomph as you would want, like the juniors have. Mids are about the same. They do a very good job of being forward and presenting a full, balanced, natural sounding vocals and just atmosphere around you. Sounds full of life. The treble on these is brighter, so you get a brighter sound, a little bit more air, a little bit more crispness. At times they can be a little bit on the shouty side and the details can be a little bit aggressive. It's not quite as controlled as it is on the juniors. Soundstage is about the same. They aren't the widest, but they aren't the narrowest. And they do a good job of placement and being accurate within the soundstage. They're okay, but I think they're overrated for $100. I think if these were more in the $50 to $75 range, they would be better priced. They just have too many limitations. The microphone and the attached cables and the smaller cups. Again, these work well for a casual gamer, not really somebody who is a online gamer, streamer, competitively, anything like that. These do not work for that. Music wise on both is very bizarre. If you use them with a desktop setup, neither one of these sound good out of an amplifier. I've tried them on the Zen DAC, the Zen Blue, the Geshelli Archel 2, the Geshelli Archel 1, the Cavelli Liquid Carbon X, and the THX. The only one that has sounded halfway decently on is the THX. All the other ones way overpowered it and made them sound tinny, thin, and meh. Both the in-ear and the big over-ear. Both of them sound great on a portable unit. You use them on your phone, works great. Use it on a DAP that does not have a lot of output impedance, works great. So like a Pioneer XDP30R, the HiFiMan Mega Mini, things like that, they sound okay. I mean, they're doable for music. You could definitely, especially the juniors, use them as a portable IEM. So if you wanted to game and then on your way home, use them to listen to music, they work fine for that. Go to the office, use them there, do a little gaming during lunchtime, take them out and play music again at the office. They would work fine. You could also take phone calls and things like that with them. So they do have their place. That being said, do I recommend? Yes, I recommend the juniors. I do not recommend the Nismo over-ear. The juniors, if you're going to use the over-ears, only use them for casual gaming. Do not use them for music. Critical listening obviously is out. And they have some limitations. Especially with microphone, you really can't use it. It just, to me, sounds too tinny, doesn't sound natural, and is lackluster, makes everything sound really far away. The juniors, on the other hand, have a better sounding microphone, better sounding overall quality of sound, more immersive, and better placement in the soundstage. And they just have a better experience because they have an inline remote that you can control your volume, you can mute your microphone, and you can answer and phone calls, play and pause your music. Whereas the over-ears do not have that. You also have a detachable microphone with the juniors. I recommend the juniors, meh on the Nismo. This has been Dave with DBS Tech Talk. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Speaking of next videos, somewhere on the screen floating around is going to be a subscription link. If you haven't already, please check that off. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. That way you'll know when the next videos are uploaded. If you really enjoy this channel and would like to see more content like this, or you would like to support it in another way, please check out the links down below. Thank you for watching, and have yourself a great day.